everyone, and welcome back. I have the next 2 weeks off from teaching, and I am so excited because I have so many garden chores that I need to catch up on. And hey, if you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and my average first frost date is going to be coming up shortly. That is going to be around mid-October. Last year, it was October 12th. So I am a pre-K teacher during the school year. This summer, we had 8 weeks of summer camp, and now I have the next 2 weeks off before the new batch of students come in. So we are spending as much time as possible catching up on things that I need to do in the backyard. Yesterday was Monday, and I spent the whole entire afternoon weeding the garden beds behind me. Even though I have a weed barrier in the path with rocks, the weeds are just growing on that. I had so many volunteer tomatoes that were popping up and still growing. Made the mistake of letting them grow in my Lysianthus beds, thinking that they wouldn't get so big by the time I was going to be harvesting them, which totally backfired. And I probably will lose a good amount of my stems because the tomatoes grew up on the netting and toppled them over. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with those. So next year, don't let my volunteer tomatoes grow. That is the most important thing I have already learned. So I'm going to quickly show you what I did on Monday because I find it so satisfying weeding and seeing the before and after. On Sunday, I did direct sow some nigella, so I weeded out that whole entire bed. We did some direct sowing, and then, as I said, on Monday, I did a ton of weeding back here. It is now Tuesday, and I'm also going to be planting out a ton of sunflowers that need to get out. I also need to weed some of my other beds. And then tomorrow, I'm probably going to do some more weeding and working on my dahlia beds, making sure that I get them the adequate airflow that they need and trimming off the bottom leaves. So let's take a look at what I did on Monday so you can see some before and afters, and then I'll see you in a second. me, that weeding was just amazing. There's so much more to be done. Once my Lysianthus beds are done and I've harvested everything that I could, I am going to weed those 3 beds as well and start over. I'm just probably going to put a tarp over them, and those won't be used until next year. I was thinking about doing a cover crop, so maybe I might do that. I'm not quite sure. I did it 2 years ago. Definitely did not pick the right one, because even though we had a very cold, snowy winter, everything came back up. So it was a little bit hard for me to kill that cover crop. So I'm going to have to look into that. So if you have any suggestions on a cover crop that I should use, preferably one that will die off in the winter, then I would be forever grateful. If not, I can always put tarps on, I guess, over it. That I did not do 2 years ago. So right now I have to clear out some of my little successions of sunflowers that have been cut, and I need to compost all of the extra stems and then plant out. I have 3.5 trays, you guys, that need to get done, and I did my last one a few weeks ago, so I need to get those in the ground. And the ones I transplanted a few weeks ago, I will tell you that the first night the little baby bunny ate at least 10 of them. My kids and I even lined up a bunch of toys and some trays to hopefully prevent it from getting in there, and it still managed to wiggle its way in and eat some more. But that's okay, there's still a ton left. And the ones behind me, I don't know if you can see them. Oh, there's a jet, guys. So I live right next to an Air Force base, and I haven't heard them in a long time because they usually don't fly on the weekends. So yeah, we're going to work on sunflowers right now, and then I'll do some more weeding. And then I also plan on adding some more to my front landscape as well. I purchased some hydrangeas. I need to divide some other things. That will be probably later in the month of September. So let's take a look at where we're going to be planting the sunflowers. We're going to pull all the existing cut stems, and then I'll show you how many I need to plant. But the good news is before I got cut off, are the sunflowers that I planted over there with you. We did the 6x6 spacing, and they are finally starting to bloom. They're a little bit better than the ones I had before, so I think having more sun is very helpful. The stems are definitely thicker. And you know what? I actually don't mind the size that they are. So I like the 6x6 spacing. So I'm going to have that succession done. And then if I need more space, which I will, because I started some red ones. I didn't have the best germination. But we also had a lot of rain too. But I'm happy I have this. And then I have another 1.5 trays worth. So this is my last succession. They're not ready to plant out. These would definitely get eaten by the bunny. However, these are the ones that we need to get in the ground. So I have 3 full trays like this, and then like a half of a tray. So these need to get done. And I didn't even bother making a tag, so I have no idea what these are. But nonetheless, we got to get them into the ground. So let's get to it. So here is that sunflower patch. And like I said, I lined it with toys and trays. And then obviously they couldn't hear, but as you can see, we have just in this area, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just in this little section alone that did not make it. But these are the Pro Cut Horizon. And look, it's actually sending off a side shoot. So I might be in luck with some of them. That one, and then this one right here, we might be able to get something at some point. But I've been trying to do my best. So like there's some missing there. and a couple of other little spots. But for the most part, it's not too terrible. These ones were eaten definitely, but you know what? It is what it is. So we are going to work over here and then over there. This is actually my third time using this area. So I'm gonna make sure I put some garden tone maybe and some worm castings. This is where my campanula was, and then we just had sunflowers. So I'm going to do some more sunflowers there. But yeah, the bugs, oh my goodness, unbelievable. So let's get to it. So it's time to pause, time for lunch. So I have this one planted out, and then I was able to do over here. So to be continued. I actually only have this little bit left, so it's not too bad. So here's the sunflowers. Another chore that I plan on doing afterwards is some more weeding over in my Cool Hardy annual beds once that gets some shade. But I do really want to plant out front, but that might have to be for tomorrow. And then another task I have to do is take the dahlias and remove all of the bottom leaves. So we also need to weed in the snapdragons to see if there is some kind of chance that they will rebloom. So that bed is really bad. I feel like I really failed on snapdragons, but next year I'm going to do better. I'm holding myself to it. So hopefully I'll see you in a few hours. Not quite sure what we're going to have planned, but yeah, lots of things to do. Luckily, there's still about under 2 weeks left. So see you soon. The fun continues. It is now just after lunch. I'm giving my kids about 45 minutes in the pool, and we are going to weed all of these beds. So many. So we have hyssop and feverfew that we wintered sowed and put in here amongst the weeds. This bed right here has feverfew and veronica. It obviously didn't bloom yet. It's a perennial, so it's just putting on green growth. But then I had some of these pop up, and I'm like, I definitely did not plant this. That is going to be next year's project. We have all of our Sweet Williams and some more feverfew and bachelor's buttons, which I will not be doing again. But I'm starting to get a little bit of a second flush. They're super, super short. However, for a mason jar, I can use this. Oh, I can use this side stem. So we're going to have to put that in water. And then, you know, I'm just going to pop it in here for now. Dirt. And then we have nothing over here. And that was my Sweet Annie. This is my Sweet Annie. Didn't do anything for me this year. We're going to try that again next year. So this is just weeds. I'm going to completely rip everything out over here. And then I might plant some of my Rebecca that I'm going to overwinter. Then we have feverfew, weeds, and then blue plurum. And that is my whole holding situation with some winter sown stuff that I'll probably just chuck. I have all this Nepeta that's going up front, and these are all my peonies and hydrangeas and some 9-bark that has seen better days. So yeah, we got a lot to do, but I'm just going to focus on these 5 beds, which should be fairly simple. And then if I have time, I do need to deadhead all of my bee balm because that is really just such an eyesore for me. But yeah, everything's looking good. I'm going to spin. Sunflowers are right here. We will be terminating these 3 lisianthus in a little bit. We have our pineapple mint, which smells amazing. That was weeded and looks so much better now. And then we still have zinnias, and then hopefully we'll have some more basil popping up soon. So yeah, we are making some progress. I do want to weed out this whole perennial section at some point, and then at this fall, maybe put some kind of a border so it's easier for us to come through with the weed whacker or the lawnmower over here. But yeah, lots to do. And so we're going to do a little bit before the little one goes down, and then we'll come right back out. So see you soon. All right, so the good news is both of my kids are napping. So that's like, that never happens. My daughter usually never ever naps, but she's asleep. So I'm going to take full advantage. So I am just going to weed these two beds, and then maybe we will work our way up front, and then we will call it quits for the day. The only other places that I really need to weed are in my yarrow patch, around my raised garden beds, and then my snapdragons. But that side is completely in the sun right now. So I'll wait for another day for that, but I don't want to bore you with a ton of weeding. But I figured maybe we can get some done and see the before and after. So let's get these beds done, and then we'll see what I'm going to do next. The weeding is done for today. I am calling it quits. As you could see, I have that 50-50 mix still from the spring. Definitely overestimated how much I needed, but I was also planning on originally adding a really good thick 3 to 4 inches to all of my tilled beds, and we probably did like 2, if that, because we were in such a time crunch. But that's fine because I'm going to use it on everything for the spring, so I will be using it for all of my beds in the fall. It's just going to be a little bit tricky because I might have to move it, and the reason is when we get our trees knocked down, that is literally blocking the access point for all of their trucks to come to the backyard. So I might have to just move the dirt. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do is move it to another location, so like somewhere probably over here. And oh, that's gonna be awful. And and then what I'll do is I will just put it in my tilled beds once they are done. Knocking everything over because they're going to be running over those beds. I still want to use them for some type of production, whether it's just like purely for sunflowers. Some of my zinnias have been doing great over there. I could always keep them in that area, so we're going to have to see. But yeah, I need to use that dirt up. I am going to probably revamp my lisianthus beds probably by the end of this week or maybe next week. So that will be great as well. But I am calling it quits. That is a lot of weeding for today. Apparently, I am really good at growing weeds. But you know what? When they're big like that, even though they might affect some of the plant's growth and taking nutrients from them, they're very easy to pull up instead of picking like the little nitty-gritty stuff. Also, what I was doing is with my feverfew, I don't know if you could catch a glimpse of that, but I was taking all the dried seed heads, popping them off, and then sprinkling them around so I could just maybe get another succession with those next year and just keep adding on to those plants. So I'm gonna hop off from now, maybe eat a snack and watch a movie, and then I will see you all later for another project that we need to do in the next 2 weeks. So if you would like to stay tuned on everything that is happening in the backyard with the roadside flower stand, what I am up to, we still have some more direct seeding to do. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I will see you all next time. Happy gardening. Bye.